Alrighty, guys, welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I am your host, Patrick Vallejos, and we are broadcasting to the world live from Phoenix. I want to welcome everybody in. I do see some new faces here. ACAB includes ICE and Border Patrol. Welcome in. Louise, Mark. Riot, what up? Okay, this is what you can expect from today's live stream here. So we are going to be diving into Clinton and Kristen's case, also known as the Devil's Den murders. I want to do a quick case overview, and then I want to go over all the updates. We have the full radio chatter from the incident. So from the 911 call to the dispatch, from the dispatch to the first responders, things like that. It's very, very disturbing, but it does give us a window into exactly what happened and how violent the crime was. And it does sound 100% like these parents were heroes. So I think we need to put that first and foremost out there. So we're going to talk about the importance of victimology and criminology. We'll talk about the victimology in this case, the criminology in this case. We're going to feature a similar case. And then hopefully we can come to a conclusion. Welcome in the last 24. So is there any breaking information? Let's start there. Is there any breaking news relating to the case? Does anybody know? Factually. Welcome in, Bobby. Inquisitive, what up? DL, welcome. Jerry, Don, Phil, and everybody else that I missed. Okay, so the couple was found dead on a remote, rugged trail with thick vegetation and no cell phone service. So do you think that's something the killer knew? Complicating the investigation. The attack occurred in broad daylight, reported around 2:40. So if it's reported around 2:40, I think it's safe to say it could have happened anywhere between 2:30 and 2:40, right? The actual incident. Because apparently the attacker probably jumped out from the woods or ambushed them. And I guess he attacked Clinton first. Clinton, then his wife grabbed the children, told them to run away. As soon as she found, I believe it was witness number one. So Kristen grabs the kids, takes off running, finds witness number one, hands her children to witnesses, says, call 911. My husband's been stabbed. Runs back like a champ, like a soldier, like a real woman, like a real wife, like true love. Runs back there and takes on a knife-wielding, I think he's a serial killer. I mean, this guy is extremely brutal, proficient. Yeah, from everything that I've gathered, I think we're dealing with a serial killer here. The exact cause of death is pending autopsy results from the Arkansas State Crime Lab, but family members reported the suspect attacked Clinton with a knife, suggesting a violent assault. So maybe it was the children. You know, what happened? What happened? Tell us what happened. My dad was attacked. I think he might have been stabbed. So it was probably at that point the children were rushed away. They witnessed the stabbing. Everything else, they were saved from the rest. Good afternoon to you, my friend. Scorpio. So he was targeting the kids, and the parents died defending the kids. I mean, think about it. As parents, isn't that really like our goal? To protect our children? And I mean, they fulfilled their duty as far as I'm concerned. It's horrible that it happened like this. You're welcome. ACAB. I'm going to call you ACAB. Yeah, let's take a look at the automobile. There's reports that it's a German type vehicle, dual exhaust. Other witnesses said it looked kind of like a Mazda. Mazdas have the dark rims. That's the first thing I'm seeing in that photograph. Louise, are you following the law enforcement Facebook page, Sleuth? No, I'm not. Will you can you send me the link perhaps? Or somebody post it? DL, I think he's a serial killer. I mean, he looks like one. Right? Decked out in black from head to toe. Seems to be a textbook serial killer kit. The name Devil's Den, is that why he selected the location? I don't know. It's not as common as you would think, but the numerology of it, the date of the incident equals 6. So I don't know what he was up to. Other than that, I don't see any occult symbolism. Jari, good to see you. Stop that right now. What up? Katie, how are you? I'm leaning serial killer right now. And that's why I wanted to focus today's live stream on victimology and criminology, and why it's important to start with the victimology, right? Plus, criminology is just harder. We don't know anything about this guy, right? So we're going to use the victimology, which is all this readily available information about the victims, their lifestyles, the way they live their lives. Was it high risk, low risk? Could that maybe point to a suspect? From what I've gathered, they're very low risk, normal people. He wasn't fired. He didn't leave his job. He wasn't running. He transferred. And we're going to read an article too. That'll be the first thing we do when we get into the victimology of it. So we'll try to understand. Let me see who wrote the article here. Wayne.com. So local coverage, channel 15. I guess WANE, Wayne. So they did a lot of digging, and they have a lot of information within that article. So that'll be important when we're talking about the victimology. And then we'll get into the criminology, the profiling of this killer. Of course, it's the amateur profile. We're not experts, but it is the Sleuth Crew profile. We do know a little something about it. But I think the first thing we're going to do, guys, now the radio chatter was put out early this morning by all the local media outlets there in Arkansas. And only a few put out the raw version. I was able to find it. It's a full 8 minutes. I edited out all the annoying beeping and all of that stuff that they have to deal with when communicating over the radio that way. So I edited it out. I tried to make the voices stand out a little bit, but viewer discretion advised. It's very disturbing.
Medic 1 at destination. Medic 4, circular first responders, stage for police, assault, possible stabbing, Devil's Den State Park, operations, ops 44, time out 1358.
Firecom, Medic 9 is clear from Station 1. What do you advise?
Medic 9, stay by.
Firecom, did you call from Medic 4?
That's affirmative. Can you sign in?
Please come in, Firecom. You show up. It's back in service.
Alpha's in service.
Medic 4's en route.
Medic 4 responding. Operations are on Ops 44.
Medic 4 on Ops 44. En route to stage.
Basic to a 73 Alpha patient assist, 1753 East Zion, apartment 69. Operations Ops 40. Time out.
Can you guys hear this?
Basic 2 is responding. You're responding at 1401.
Firecom 1714. What's the location in the state park that we need to be responding to?
Medic 4 and Strickler. Washington County received a call from the visitor center. 2 children are there. They advised that their parents were assaulted. One was possibly stabbed. The parents are missing. If you'll just stage back for police.
Medic 11's at destination.
Medic 11 destination 1402.
1717 responding.
1701 responding.
Go ahead.
Firecom, we're going to be in service. We do need to decon our truck and possibly get supplies.
Receiving in service.
Firecom, Strickler Car 1 responding.
Strickler car 1 responding.
Firecom, are we on 43?
Negative. Ops 44.
1216, Devil's Den.
1222, 1216.
You at the VIC.
That's a lower Devil's Den.
We're all sweeping the trail, me and I've got a maintenance person with me. Interpreter with first aid kits trying to locate the family. Do me a favor and ask them again what the parents' names were and just relay on this channel.
10-4.
16. I'm 5'5". Do we need to sweep the like social trails or just stay on the main trail?
Cover the main trail right now first.
Oh.
Copy that.
Help.
Sweep the main trail first right now.
Main trail. Like ice blocks, hiking down. Looking for help.
Copy that. Say again. Repeat.
Hear yells calling for help. We're hiking down. I think they're
10-4, we're hearing them too towards the end of the lower part of the Devil's Den Trail.
4.
1216, 1222. 10-4. 1216, 1222. 16, Devil's Den. Devil's Den 2, Washington County.
Medic 1 in service. Medic 1 in service 1413.
Last unit on NWRMA 4. Repeat your traffic.
Basic 2 is on scene. Basic 2 on scene 144.
1216 to Devil's Den 2 to Washington County SO. No, see, this is a short channel. You're trying to reach the Washington County Sheriff's Officer, Benton County. Washington County. Copy. I'll let them know how to switch. 1216 to either interpreter.
Hey, Jeremy.
Trying to relay to the office. So we found the victims down here. They're on the lower Devil's Den Trail. Just a couple minutes. I think I see you right there. I've got two bodies down here. 1216 to 1222. Well, I see that.
Okay, did he say the lower Devil's End Trail? Okay, so it's mapped out on Google Street View. So if you go there, you can kind of take the tour. That's where some of those images that you saw on the screen were from. I took the tour. It goes up and down, and then it basically just loops back around. But there's little places where you can kind of cut off the trail, and there's like trails outside of the trail. And then it goes up, back down, and goes near a creek where there's a really pretty waterfall and all kinds of stuff. So it sounds like if he's saying down, it must be somewhere near where the creek area is. If I'm hearing that correctly.
Medic 4 state.
Oop, I missed those ones. Sorry, guys.
Medic 1
Sorry
responding at 1417.
Oh,
Medic
thank you,
manifest
Louise.
1417. Medic 1, your patient will be in room 112 window, 95-year-old male, needing evaluation after an unwitnessed fall. No reported injury.
1216, 1222.
Medic 1.
Welcome in, Sensei. I'm going to pause it right there. Sensei says, so did hikers hear the girls screaming and shouting for help? No, not originally. What happened was the mother grabbed her children and ran away from the scene. right? But left behind the assailant and her husband, smack dab in the middle of his attack on the husband. So that's when they say that they're heroes. That's what they did. This guy was probably planning to kill them all, right? It's really, there is some numerology which is really weird. You add all up the numbers of the date, it's 6. If you add up the numbers of partial date, it's 6. And then if you add up the remainder of the date, it ends up being 2. So 662 plus 4 is another 6. There's 4 victims. So he could have been going to kill all 4 of them. The father recognizing like, hey, this is a unwarranted assault on us. We're probably dealing with a maniac. The wife, situational awareness. Like, yeah, we're dealing with a damn madman. He's attacking us with a knife. Save the children. I'm going to do my best to fend off this monster. So the husband, right, doing exactly what all of us men should do. I commend him. God rest his soul, Clinton. He's a hero. He took the blunt force of it, took on the attacker. The mom got the children away from the scene of the crime. As soon as she made contact with the first witness, she didn't run away with the children. She said, you take my children, I'm going back. We're going to go fuck this guy up. But unfortunately, when you're dealing with somebody who's prepared physically, mentally, they've been planning this out, reliving it in their mind, that's a difficult person to deal with. Not all serial killers are high intelligence and also having physical strength. There's a few like that. Ted Bundy was one of those guys. He I don't know if we could classify Koberger as that. I think he thought he was, tried to be, but maybe we can fit him in that as well.
Medic went on scene at 14.
134 was Danville Squad 3 to Mercy Rogers, patient care report.
Medical 11 in service.
Medic 11 in service at 1421.
1222, 1215. 1222, 1216.
This is Mercy. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mercy. This is Danville Squad 3. I'm just giving you a heads up. We're about 20 minutes out from your facility. We're coming in non-emergent with a 20-year-old female. She was swimming in swimming holes here in Bentonville on a rope swing. Took about a 15.
So you guys, just so you know, some of the chatter is unrelated. This is unedited. You're getting reports coming in from Devil's Den, and then you're also getting local reports from people needing a police or fire response or medical.
Put a fall onto some very jagged, exposed rock. Has 2 4-inch long, about 3-inch deep gashes on her right thigh. Bleeding was controlled on arrival. I'm going to go ahead and say she's probably about a trauma level 1. Just wanted to give you a heads up prior to arrival. She's a GCS GCS of 15, GCS of 15, ANO4. Current vitals are pulse rate of 103, 100% 34 over 71. I'll try and send a Pulsera. Do you have any questions prior to my arrival?
Witnessed another female who was with the children and asked the witnesses to take the children back to the VIC and then went back to help the friend.
I think she's down here with me right now.
Okay, so that's what I was trying to explain earlier. The question was, did hikers hear the screaming? No. So the mother ran the children back, handed her children off to a witness, and then people that were looking for them after making contact with the children, the kids saying, hey, our parents are under attack, they're lost. So then first responders begin looking for them. I'm assuming security, maybe a first responding officer, somebody along those lines. They heard the screaming. So while they're looking, they began to hear the screaming echoing, because that's all it is. It's like a canyon. So it's just like a loop that goes up the side of a canyon, along the edge of the canyon, back down towards the water, and then back around towards the visiting center. So they were hearing that echoing through there, unable to really tell where they were, where their location was.
And the friend is here too. They're down here at the scene. If you will go ahead and confirm with Troop L that they are sending me down here.
10-4.
And also, I've got both interpreters at each end of the trail blocking traffic from visitors. If you can bring some flagging tape and stuff when you get out here.
Box 7 to Station 7, 862. Respond to the Avoca 1 stop at 124 North Highway 62, 124 North Highway 62 for an MVC. Respond on Ops 5, time of tone 1423.
If you would go ahead and confirm with county and state police, I've notified both of them, but I want to make sure they know our existence. And
10-4. County's here with me right now.
you go ahead.
Medic 3 Elkins, first responders, 1 Charlie abdominal pain, 1055 Raspberry Street, operations Ops 42, timeout 1424.
1717, this is 1714.
1714, can you repeat your last traffic?
1717, what's your location?
1710, I'm coming around Sharp Curve right now.
Copy.
1425.
41 responding Raspberry.
41 responding at 1425.
Medic 6, ladder 6.
Actually, I think that's all. I think that's pretty much it, you guys. But that's where we get the information that Kristen, she took her children, handed them off to the first person that she ran into. Said, hey, run, call 911, take them, make sure they're safe. I need to go save my husband. Clinton and Kristen. So why were they attacked? Is it because they were a family of 4? Is it because they were a family? I think it was Wayne. Yeah, Wayne, W-A-N-E, channel 15. They're out of, I'm sorry, it's actually K-N-W-A and K-F-T-A. That is what the 911 operator said, that she told the kids to run, and they kept running until they couldn't hear mom anymore. I mean, how would you defend against a violent attacker like that? I mean, this place is extremely public. I suggest all of you go look on Google Street View. You can take your own tour through there. There's people everywhere. Like, it's really packed. Well, at least on the days that they took those photographs with the 360 camera. There's people all over the place. So why did he pick that location? Was it the name, Devil's Den? All right. The suspect is a white male of medium build, last seen wearing a long sleeve shirt, dark pants, dark baseball cap, sunglasses, fingerless gloves, and carrying a black backpack. There's really no mention of the duffel bag. I mean, it's obviously has a backpack and a duffel bag. He was seen driving a black four-door sedan, possibly a Mazda, with its license plate obscured by electrical or duct tape, heading toward a park exit via State Highway 170. Welcome in, Justice Jane. DNA. They said he might have been injured. I don't know if that means he got punched in the face If he got slammed to the ground, or if he cut himself on his own weapon. That would be amazing. If they have DNA from this guy right here, that's great. Because he may be in the system. They might be tracking this guy right now. They were tracking Rex Heuermann and Brian Koberger for weeks before we even knew anything about it. So sleep well. Sleep well, buddy. Pitbull Mom, welcome in. Davey, good to see you. Justice Ziggy. Who did I miss? Boston, welcome in. Christine. All right. Okay, so this is how we're going to do it, guys. Okay. So why is it important? Victimology, criminology. And out of the two, why do we start with victimology? So what is victimology? It's study of a victim's background, their lifestyle, relationships, risk factors to understand why they were targeted or encountered the offender, aiding in motive and suspect identification. We're trying to paint a picture. You know, the more information we can cover and go over, the more we're likely to have a eureka moment or an aha moment, or all of a sudden something just starts clicking together. You know, we start seeing this image of this perpetrator. Right now, we have a picture of the back of him. If we can piece things together, maybe we can start understanding a little bit more about what we're looking for. But that image right there is huge. I still don't know where it came from. Most suspect it is maybe a trail cam. I did my best to find trail cams along the trail. I see none. But I did see a ton of photographers. I mean, I could probably count a dozen, tripods and all. All right. And then we're going to move from victimology to criminology, the study of the offender's behavior, motives, and patterns, often through crime scene analysis and profiling, to understand the criminal's actions and characteristics. Yeah, I was wondering that too. Pitbull says it may be a trick, but it looks like to me like his hip is off a bit. I thought maybe that's where he has his knife, right? Or a gun. It looks like he might have something holstered here. But really, what's misleading about it is that's not his leg. I think that's part of the duffel bag kind of hanging down right there. So it kind of makes it look like he's leaning a little bit to the left, but I think it's an illusion. Hey, what's up, wife Lilith? I think he was targeted. They said he moved closer to his mom, so I bet he knows people in that area already. Could be. It could be, Lilith. I mean, that's the first thing we talked about was the move. You know, the victims recently moved. So that's a big part of the victimology. Does that tell us anything? Were they running from something? Did they disturb something when they came back? Maybe they had some skeletons. Were they from that area? So I don't know if them moving closer to mom necessarily means that they're familiar with that area. Maybe mom moved to a new location. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll find out. Okay, now these are the reasons we start with victimology. Victimology examines the victim's lifestyle, relationships, routines, risk factors, high-risk behaviors like drug use, or low-risk routines like dog walking. This helps determine if the crime was targeted, personal, professional, or relational, or random, narrowing the motive. For example, in a stabbing case, knowing if the victim had enemies from work or social disputes can suggest a personal grudge versus an opportunistic attack. What's up, Andrew? Welcome in. Welcome in, Hot Billy. I mean, this guy is dressed like Antifa in a Dem city, and the dad was wearing a lot of MAGA stuff, social media pics and stuff. Yeah, that's true. That is true, but that's all the stuff on the surface, right? We see the guy in the MAGA hat. We see this guy kind of dressing like, but I believe that this guy's dressed in black because that's something killers do. Before they commit a murder, for whatever reason, they dress in all black. I don't know if it's because they want to hide in the shadows. They just look like a shadowy figure, harder to give details, witness details. But those are things that are just on the surface, Billy, right? Like, we got to go further than that. Let's dig a little deeper. Arkansas is in Clinton County. Coincidence. What's up, Davey? We need another dumbass like Richard Allen and have him self-snitched. Hey, I was there that day and looked just like that guy. That's what the local would do. Right? Thinking that he's been recognized. Because he would have been, potentially. But if he is local, a lot of this is reminiscent of the Delphi murders, for sure. Yeah, definitely premeditated. We can all agree on that. This was a premeditated crime. So instead of thinking Antifa, if he's duct taping his license plates, I'm thinking, well, premeditated crime, he's going to want his kill kit. Usually that involves a bunch of dark clothes, things that you can discard easily. Right? We're going to try to put ourselves in the shoes of this killer, and through the process of him trying to get from point A to point B, how's he going to get there? How's he going to get from fantasizing about killing 4 individuals, a young family, in a wooded, secluded area? How does he make it happen and not get caught? He doesn't want to get caught. He's a pussy. He can't deal with the punishment. He wants all of the pain and the sadism and all of that. But he's trying to figure out how to get there. What's his MO? Right? What's his mode of operation? How's he going to get from point A to point B? Apparently, he's come up with this scheme to target the Devil's Den area. Clad in all black. He's doing something with a backpack, a duffel bag. He's got, what is that called? A neck gaiter, something that can be pulled over his face for a disguise. So he's thinking about this. He's trying to figure out how I'm going to get from point A to point B. Well, they're going to see my car. Well, I'll duct tape the license plate. Well, they're going to recognize me. Well, I'll get the little gator thing and I'll use it to cover my face as I escape. What about my description? Well, I'll wear a bunch of random clothes that aren't mine. For all we know, he stole the clothing, paid for it cash at some random location. Might not even belong to him. Something that he can wear once and get rid of. Because what is he thinking? He's thinking about forensics, right? How did Rex Heuermann get busted? His wife and his daughter's hair were found, with the victims. So he's thinking, if I need to wear clothes that has been nowhere near my house, that has been nowhere near my cars, been nowhere near anything. So he probably would have cleaned out his car, purchased clothing that has never touched his home or his person prior to that day. Because whatever he's wearing during the actual attack is going to be leaving fibers, hair, things that could match maybe fibers in his home or his wife or his daughter's hair. He doesn't want that to happen, right? In the Delphi murders, they found Abby with a hair from Libby's sister, Kelsey. That's what the killer's trying to avoid. And why was that hair there? Well, she was wearing her hoodie and just left her vehicle. It wasn't long. It wasn't long. Let's take a look here. Okay, by analyzing the victim's social, professional, and personal connections, investigators can identify individuals with opportunity or motive. For example, coworkers, romantic partners, acquaintances. This is critical when no suspect description exists, right? We're trying to be intuitive. Okay, in cases with limited evidence, maybe no witnesses, no DNA matches, victimology focuses investigative efforts on the victim's life, which is often better documented than the offender's. This prevents wasting resources on broad speculative profiling. Checking a victim's phone records or social media can reveal recent conflicts faster than canvassing an entire park for unknown suspects. What do we know anything about any activity on social media, on their cell phones? They should have the digital forensics from their cell phones by now. Has anybody heard, or was there any hints at anything like that? Some kind of conflict? Billy says, I mean, the tape over the license plate is definitely premeditated, right? Absolutely. So that tells me that if he's premeditating that, he's premeditating everything. Couldn't be some road rage on the way there. I mean, that's interesting, Billy. There's road rage, follows them from a distance, pulls into the park behind them, gets out, duct tapes it. Yeah, I mean, I think that's possible. With the evidence that we have, yeah, I think that fits. But that definitely wouldn't explain how he's dressed. But to fit back into your narrative of the Antifa thing, yeah. That does add a little weight to your theory. But what about the duffel bag and the backpack and the gator? See, we're looking at your traditional kill kit right here, Billy. Right? This is was brought out on the Monon High Bridge. Right? Your basic kill kit. Overdressed on a hot day. It was about 100 degrees. Dude's got on long pants, boots, and a long sleeve shirt and a gator around his neck. That's like at least 60-degree weather attire. This happened around 2:40. So yeah, it kind of is rush hour, dude. Your theory is growing legs. Brad says it does feel Delphi 2.0 in ways. Hopefully it doesn't drag as long with no arrest. Yeah, I mean, look, he put on his kill kit, duct taped his plates, and went and started hunting in a public place in the middle of the day. I think all of this adds to the adrenaline, That's what they might be after. Some type of sexual gratification and the high off of adrenaline. Tech Death says this is a hitman. The victimology doesn't tell us that, Tech Death. I mean, I would go there if that's what it was telling us. But right now, going off of the victimology, I'm not seeing any conflicts here. And these two seem extremely happy. They died for each other. I mean, this is a true love story if I've ever heard one. It breaks my heart. This guy was about my age. It could have been me. Could have been me. Okay, understanding the victim's habits, such as frequenting a park at night, helps interpret crime scene details like whether the offender stalked them or exploited a routine. This informs whether the crime was planned or spontaneous. Now, what I've gathered just kind of from scrolling through their Facebook and things like that, they were avid hikers. They love the outdoors. These people seemed so happy. I was happy for them. Just looking at these photographs, like, man, you lived a really great life. It's sad that this had to happen. Is that what was being targeted through social media? Or just them, just being a happy family? This guy couldn't allow it. Couldn't allow it. Now, Lilith says, if it was targeted, how did he know they would be there? Someone who is closer than they know. I'm starting a new job is also a question. Did he get a job over someone else and it passed them off? Is weird. That's what I was asking. Like, does the move have anything? Are they running? And by them moving to a new location, are they affecting somebody else? Maybe even in a new house, right? Somebody gets foreclosed on. This happy couple moves in, living their life. This guy's now homeless. Like, man, that, Happy Gilmore, basically. Right? You took my grandma's house. Fucking Shooter McGavin or whatever. You just pulled landscaping duty. What's up, bad actors? Welcome in. Good to see you. So we did consider that, Lilith. I like where your mind is at. And that's all we have to go on, right? There's more with the victimology than the criminology. And right now we're just kind of learning why that's important to start with the victimology. Let's see. Okay, victimology provides data to build an offender profile. For instance, a targeted attack on a low-risk victim suggests a personal motive, right? So we're definitely dealing with a low-risk family here. They're very happy. It's like your average house with a picket white fence situation. I think that is low risk. So if he's targeting them specifically, it would have to be personal. So that's going to take a lot of digging. It's going to take more than a MAGA hat. You know what I mean? This is something else. But it could be. I like the theory. But this guy in all black, wearing the backpack, the duffel bag, the gaiter, committing the crime the way that he did, those boots, the duct taping. I just don't see a road rager doing all of this. Is it possible? Yeah, but I don't think that's what we're looking at. It could be. We can always change our mind. The trajectory can always change when new facts and new information is released. I'm okay with that. Okay, so why not the criminology first? Why not just look at this creep and start there? Criminology relies on crime scene evidence, patterns, or suspect behavior. Without a suspect, witnesses, or clear MO, profiling is speculative and less actionable. Crime scenes may lack usable data, no weapon or surveillance, as seen in cases with inoperable cameras or remote settings. And it makes you wonder also, right? Is this all they have? Maybe they have a full video of this guy. In the Delphi murders, we got, what was it, 8 seconds? It was very short. We got this really short video. It was grainy of a guy just kind of taking a few steps on the bridge. Later on, they released a 43-second video of the victims interacting with the killer. And multiple shots of the killer, not just the ones that were presented. So do they have more? Do they have his DNA? I mean, they got to be looking for that car all over the place, right? Starting with criminology can lead to generic profiles. Male, 20 to 40, loner. That misdirect resources without victim context. to ground assumptions. Okay, so victimology should be the starting point because it provides a concrete foundation, using the victim's known life details to uncover motives, identify suspects, and guide resources. Intensive steps like criminological profiling, it's especially vital in unsolved cases with sparse evidence. Okay, let me go ahead and jump into this article here. We want to learn as much about these victims as possible. And I want to share what I read with you today. Here, I'll put it up on the screen for you if you want to follow along. So we're going to start with the victimology here. And that's a good place to start. All right, Channel 15, titled What We Know About Clinton and Kristen Brink, Killed in Devil's Den State Park. It's by Kyler Swaim. It was posted today, earlier today, a couple hours ago. Now, didn't another group of witnesses say he gave them sketchy vibes? Did he not act on that group because he thought he would be outnumbered and outmatched? I did hear those rumors. I don't know if it's verified yet, Billy. But I did hear he was kind of walking around giving everybody dirty looks. Yeah, maybe he had a bad day. He snapped. I mean, it is true. Most killers and serial killers usually, these types of crimes are preceded by some kind of a stressor in the perpetrator's life. You know, a divorce, bankruptcy, losing of a job, some kind of financial issue, you know. Okay, an Arkansas couple was killed on a hiking trail at Devil's Den State Park on Saturday, and the search for the suspect is ongoing. Arkansas State Police identified the victims as Clinton David Brink, who was 43, and Kristen Amanda Brink, who was 41, of Prairie Grove. Their daughters, ages 7 and 9, were unharmed and are safe with family, authorities said. And I believe that Clinton has another daughter who is older than both the 7 and the 9-year-old from a previous relationship, which is important, right? Yeah, it's beyond sad. It's disturbing. Bad actors. I mean, they need to find this guy. There's no way this guy's not going to do it again. Like, he absolutely will do it again. Last 24. I find it hard to believe that they wouldn't at least have some touch DNA. There was some discussion about gloves with the fingers cut off. Could be biking gloves, weightlifting gloves. For all we know, maybe they were just regular gloves that mittens that you can kind of flip off and fold them. And then when it gets too cold, you can cover your fingers back up. He could have had rubber gloves on and then put the biking or weightlifting gloves over the top of those, specifically for grip. That tells me that he's experienced or has been practicing stabbing something. And believe it or not, a lot of crime scenes that involved stabbings, the perpetrator will have wounds on their hands. During interviews, law enforcement, the first thing they say is, "Let me see your hands." And most times when they show their hands, you can see the cuts all over them. Some family members have been speaking on social media. I would like to get my hands on that. I would like, I think that's a window into the victimology. Who were they? Were they low risk? Everything that I've gathered, I feel like they're a low risk family. So for this to be a personal targeted event, it would have to be definitely, first of all, personal, right? And might require something that's not on the surface. some vendetta, maybe business dealings. If they're there to take care of their mother, maybe there's an inheritance. Maybe it's a sibling rivalry. Like, you're not going to get the money. Maybe she's going to leave all her money to the oldest known relative. Well, I'll go ahead, and a psychopath might think, well, I'll just get rid of all the other relatives. And that'll be me. Sometimes sadistic killers who are psychos might, murder's always on the table for them. All right. ASP and Prairie Grove Mayor David Falk said that the family had recently moved to the area. Falk said in a statement to Nexstar on Monday that their water service was turned on in Prairie Grove on July 16th. All right. So maybe we can look at a previous owner. Is there a story there? I mean, maybe not a previous owner, but some property information. Maybe you can access the county tax assessor information to see what happened there. As far as the property, maybe there can be some clues there. Trying to find out any patterns, right? So that's the criminology part of it, but it ties into the victimology. Maybe that, what happened? Well, they recently moved. Well, what also happened? They were recently murdered. Could one have to do with the other, or vice versa? Clinton Brink had been scheduled to start a job as a milk delivery driver on Monday in Fayetteville. Highland Dairy, his employer, said in a statement to the Associated Press. He had transferred from Highland Dairy's parent company, Prairie Farms Dairy, in South Dakota. All right. So we'll make an attempt to reach maybe some coworkers. What was it like working with Clinton, before he moved away? Do you know why he moved away? What was he talking about? What was he into? What stood out about him? So those are some of the things we'll be doing on this channel. A little bit of digging. Clinton and Kristen died heroes protecting their little girls, and they deserve justice. The Brink family said in a statement, they will forever live in all of our hearts. Danica Harrell, a nurse at a rehabilitation center in Montana, told the Associated Press that the Brinks had also lived in the state for several years, starting around 2018, and played on a recreational volleyball team. See, these guys seem cool as shit. Well, it seemed like they were cool. In the summer, the Brinks would set up a volleyball net at a local park and encourage people to play, she said. I love that. That's one of my favorite things to do. Playing volleyball at the park with a bunch of strangers or people that you know, or even just camping, playing volleyball. You don't even need a net, just tie a rope. In the pool, volleyball in the pool. Harrell said that when she struggled to find childcare, the Brinks allowed her daughter to stay with them without a thought, and that Kristen Brink would often bring a plate of food when she brought the girl back home. Wow. They were selfless and unconditional with their love and support for their friends, Harrell said. Okay, we already went over this information. So there's a little bit of insight into who they were. Everything is pointing at low risk, which means that this bastard right here may have been targeting the Devil's Den, not the couple. But we can't overlook the fact that they just moved. In every article, every time the case is brought up, they talk about how they just moved from one location to another, like how fresh they are there. Just had their water turned on. He was planning to start his job 2 days after he was killed. We can't overlook that. Does that mean anything? Does that matter? Are we dealing with a sibling rivalry? If he's there to take care of his mother, that's information. It could be information that's motivating the killer. So, I mean, does he have a sibling? Does he have any problems with anybody from that area that might be upset? Was his mother being taken care of by a nurse? All right, we're going to save money. We're moving back, we're moving in with mom, or we're moving in next door. We're going to give her the care that she needs. Your services are no longer needed. Say that to a psychopath who happens to be a sadistic, violent person. Who knows? Maybe they begin to target you, stalking you, something like that. But to me, this all looks like Devil's Den was the target. Couldn't resist. Nobody around. Here's this beautiful family, young children. I think he planned to kill all 4 of them. And that family died foiling his plans. Riot says, article I'm reading says police believe the murderer to have been injured during the attack. And I don't know what that means. I'm hoping there's DNA. If there's injuries, maybe some skin under the fingernails, touch DNA. I'm hoping that he cut himself and left a nice big puddle of blood there for the CSI team. I hope. Because if he did, they might be tracking this son of a bitch right now, guys. Right now, they could be looking right at him. Waiting for him to drop a pizza box or a Q-tip or a water bottle. Bad actors. I like to think people are talking about me behind my back too. Right? Everybody can't stop talking about me. Where did she work? Well, I know she went to college to be a nurse. She had recently graduated. So that's some information about her. That applies to the victimology. Maybe someone infatuated with not being able to be with her. It's so sad to seem like it would be solved fast. But we all thought the same about Exactly. Okay, that's a good point. So any of her college classmates, do you guys recognize this guy? You never know. This guy could have been obsessed with her. Maybe they had a little emotional fling. Sometimes that happens on accident, where all of a sudden you open your eyes and you're like, oh my God, I'm in an emotional relationship with somebody. That's not right. You hear people call other people work wives, work husbands, how does that shit's weird to me. But sometimes it happens on accident. Every day you go to work and there's this person that sits next to you. You begin, to create a bond, a friendship. But good point, Lilith. Good point. I like what's coming from the chat. Okay, so Clinton was 43, Kristen was 41. Married couple. They were married in 2014. Okay, so they've been going strong since 2014. And I think Clinton has a daughter from a previous relationship prior to that. So there's not really any conflicts. If he had a conflict with his daughter's mother, why now? So much time has gone by. Recently moved to Prairie Grove, Arkansas, approximately 3 weeks before the incident. Okay, so they've been there for 3 weeks, guys. Is this an important detail? Does this tell us anything why they might have been attacked? Right? Taking somebody's job, taking somebody's home. And we're not saying that's what they did. We're trying to look at this through the killer's eyes. What is he thinking? Remember, psychopaths are always the victim, right? Narcissists, sociopaths. The world revolves around them. So how are they being affected? What could have Clinton and Kristen have done for a psycho son of a bitch, sadistic killer to perceive that he was under attack or he was being affected by them? Or is it random? What's up, True Psych Ward? Apparently, the police waited days to release any information, which gave the suspect a head start. Unlike Delphi, the police didn't box him in by making a public call for anyone on the trail to call first half. Okay. Well, what I have to say to that, Psych, is remember that vehicle is evidence. And it might be something that the killer doesn't want to get rid of. So if he's proactive, he's thinking about countermeasures, he's weighing his options. All right, what do they know? That's why people like Richard Allen always sit around during an interrogation instead of getting an attorney and shutting their mouth, because they're hungry for information so they can calculate their next move. That's it. A kind of an indication of who they are and how they think and how they operate. So if that's how this guy operates, I think that that's what he's doing. And by the fact that now his car is being plastered all over the news, he might have gotten rid of it. Something when he was weighing his options previously, he's like, well, I don't need to. Maybe they have it, but right, I covered my license plate, so I don't live around here. Nobody knows me. I'll be gone. But now you have his vehicle plastered all over the news. He's like, oh shit, now I'm going to re-weigh my options. Getting rid of this vehicle, I'm going to burn it now. Previously, though, if that information was held secret, law enforcement may have an opportunity to get their hands on that vehicle and get their CSI team in there to do what they do. Now they definitely don't have that opportunity, because this killer's watching. He could be watching the live stream right now. Remember, the killer's always watching. When it comes to social media, the killer's watching. So if the killer's watching, guys, chat anything you would like to say to him. We'll make sure we put those messages right up on the screen. Let's go to True Psych Ward. In Delphi, Rick's wife encouraged him to call after hearing news report and seeing that picture. If suspect has family or a wife, they likely would have known that on Saturday he was there. Unless, True Psych Ward, I think we're dealing with somebody that could be more like a Rex Heuermann. You know, when did Rex Heuermann strike? Rex Heuermann struck when his wife would leave the country to go visit her family. That gave him time to let his freak flag fly. Right? I can go stalking my victims. I can go get my burner phones. I have time to go pick up prostitutes and do my BTK called it trolling, right? He would troll. Ooh, there's a target. And then from trolling and targeting, once he had his target, he began stalking. So you need time to do that. But it doesn't mean that you're not a family man. It could just mean that at this very point in time, maybe he's on a vacation, a business trip. Maybe there's a reason that he's out there in that area, but it doesn't mean he's from here. So these are all things to consider as a viewer, and you're trying to figure out, do I know this guy? Just consider all those things. Bad actor says, save your soul and turn yourself in. He's not going to do that. He should. But he doesn't believe in souls, I don't think, the way that in that context. Right? He doesn't understand why that family was so happy. What's the soul that you speak of? Remember Brian Koberger drawing that black heart? That's all they know. Okay, previously lived in Miles City, Montana, and inland California, very close to Bakersfield. They have friends there, according to their Facebook. The family, parents to two daughters, ages 7 and 9, who were with them during the hike but were unharmed and are now safe. And like I said, I think Clinton has a daughter from a previous relationship. A GoFundMe organized by Sherry Reed of Arizona. So it looks like Sherry Reed, if you're in Arizona, give me a call. A verified family member referenced 3 daughters, suggesting a possible third child. So that's verification on that. Sherry Reed, give me, holler at me. Holler at your boy. My email is sleuthintuition@gmail.com. Maybe you can clear up some of this information and help us out. All we want is justice here. Okay, occupation and education. Clinton Brink transferred from Prairie Farms Dairy in South Dakota to Highland Dairy in Arkansas, scheduled to start as a milk delivery driver in the Fayetteville area July 28th, 2 days after the murders. Described as a loving husband and amazing father by family. The couple was devoted to each other, their daughters, and their faith, as noted in the GoFundMe. They were remembered as loving parents by family. Family statements emphasized their heroism in protecting their daughters during the attack. Okay, that's our victimology. What does it tell us? To me, it tells me that they're low risk. And if this person targeted them, it's extremely personal, and we don't have those details yet. Otherwise, we're dealing with a serial killer, guys. Or like a fantasy-driven killer. And from the information that I've gathered, this isn't their first time. I feel like we're seeing the evolution of a killer. How else do you explain the gloves? Right? Trial and error. First time they did it, they cut their hand, perhaps. Not this time. But maybe they picked the wrong gloves. So the next time they commit this murder, they're going to probably wear maybe some cut-proof gloves. You know, they just keep evolving. Fixing their mistakes. Scary to think, but he probably is watching social media to see what they know. Yeah, he needs to know. He wants to know. He's trying to be proactive, and if he can calculate anywhere in there where he can fit into this equation how to slip in a countermeasure, right? They always want to be proactive, hiding in plain sight, not get caught. Thank you, Mark. If you guys want to hit the Cash App, there you go. I appreciate that. You guys don't have to feel pressured to hit the Cash App, but we are crowdfunded. And if you can't hit the Cash App, hit the like button. It's right there. And if you guys want some Sleuth Crew merch, shoot me an email, sleuthintuition@gmail.com, and I'll hook you up. I read the gloves were fingerless. Yeah, like weightlifting, biker gloves. So that tells me it was just all about grip. But sometimes when you wear gloves, like complete gloves, you lose that touch. Like for me, when I go target practice shooting, I have certain gloves that I wear that have the fingers and the thumbs cut out. I need that feel. I need to feel what I'm doing. Maybe that's why he chose those types of gloves, to have more of a feeling. Maybe for the weapon, I'm not quite sure. Cindy, what's up? Pitbull Mom, I think we're seeing an evolution. Remember, that's Michael Klunder. What did he do? His first victim was a young woman. She was too strong for him, even though he's a large, strong man. He could have overpowered her. But, you know, some people, you know, fight or flight. This woman was strong enough to push him off and get help and point right at him. Yes, officer, it was Michael Klunder. Tried to kidnap me. Tried to sexually assault me. He went to jail, gets out, and says, okay, how do I get from point A to point B without going to jail this time? All right, I'm going to kidnap 2 3-year-olds. Very easy. But he's sexually motivated. He's like, okay, well, that was easier, but what do I do with the sexual element? Was no longer interested, put the kids in a dumpster. So he's evolving, right? What do I do now? How do I get from point A to point B? He says, well, because I'm driven by a sexual element and I'm not attracted to babies, I need to find somebody close to a woman, but not as strong as a woman. Because remember, these guys are all pussies. They're looking for vulnerability and how to exploit it. But you can see how he's adjusting. He went too high, right? It's like playing darts. You're going for that bullseye, and then you land too far right. You're like, okay, well, I need to go to the left. Throw it. Oh, shit, I went too far to the left. Now on your third try, you're right there in the middle. That's what these killers are doing. To an extent, right? Brad Lucas, I hope he isn't like an Israel Keys. Well, I was trying to piece together some type of a profile. It was really difficult. Probably need a professional for that. But some kind of a profile where you're not only looking for murder cases, right? In Israel Keys, he was also a bank robber. So maybe we're dealing with somebody that's okay with murder, but not restricted to it. They're not only driven like a BTK to commit brutal homicide. Maybe their entire lifestyle is like that. If I need money, I'll go take it. And then it'll fund me for the next month while I plot another murder. And everything is just so random. But maybe it's not random, right? Maybe it's purposefully random. He picked the Devil's Den because it's a stranger to him. It's a place that he could visit. He could walk around freely, maybe in a disguise, taking notes. Like, hey, here's a good ambush point. Maybe he liked the name Devil's Den. You know, maybe this is some kind of a ritual. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Thank you for your continued support. All right, let's get into the criminology of this. Now, remember, this is the hard part. Okay, we'll start with crime scene and offender behavior. Devil's Den Trail. The murders occurred on a 1.5-mile loop trail in Devil's Den State Park. Rugged terrain, thick vegetation, no cell phone service. I mean, that seems extremely beneficial to the killer. But are we dealing with somebody that sophisticated? Is that what prompted him? You know, sadistic, violent killers are attracted to these locations for the same reasons we are. You know, beauty doesn't change. This place is beautiful. The only difference is we go to these beautiful locations and say, hey, this is going to be a great place for a hike. I can't wait to bring my babe here, you know, and the kids and enjoy a nice day. For a serial killer, they're thinking, damn, like this has some great ambush points. You know, I could really hide here, or I could really hide a body there, or, you know, things like that. That's the difference. Stephanie says, how come no press conference? Well, Stephanie, welcome in, by the way. To me, this fits into the narrative that they might be tracking this guy. Right? Might be waiting for some DNA. Maybe he's on the run. Right? He might have already committed another crime. He may have committed a crime before this and was already on the run. Pitbull Mom says, Scrub Report. Yeah, if you guys can, please hit the like button. Do it. Okay, so no cell phone service. You know, maybe he was, this is a beautiful place to take a hike. While he's walking around, he's like, damn, there's no cell phone service here. Bumps into one of the workers and says, what's going on with the cell phone service? Oh, nobody gets service down here. Right? This guy who's constantly fantasizing about how to get from point A to point B, a flag pops up, a little light bulb pops up in his head. No cell phone service, you say. And he's already intrigued by the name Devil's Den. It's all right for his fantasy. Perhaps, if it's not a personal attack. Remember, we got to be willing to change the trajectory at any point based on the facts. We don't want to get bogged down or die on any hills or anything like that. We don't need to be right. We need this guy to get caught, and these folks need justice. If we're wrong in just having this conversation, it's just to bring attention to the case and try to understand how not to be Clinton and Kristen, because that's terrifying what happened to them. All right, the time of attack, around 2:30 p.m. on Saturday, July 26, 2025, which in numerology, if you add that date up, it adds up to a 6. Does that mean anything? Probably not. Yet the trail's isolation minimized immediate witnesses. The daytime attack suggests confidence or urgency, possibly to exploit the victim's presence. The fact that it was in the middle of the day tells me that it could have been important for this person. Whether it was important that he attacks a group of 4, whether he attacks a mother and a father with their children for his own personal vendettas, his own personal motivating factors. Why in the middle of the day? If a killer just wants to get from point A to point B, which is from where he seems normal to where he's torturing his victims for sexual pleasure and things like that, why pick the Devil's Den? Why pick those 4 people? And why do it in the middle of the day, right? Delphi murders, 2:30, middle of the day, 2 victims. What is it? Are they under some kind of pressure? Is it a ritual? Is it necessary for them to do it at a certain time? It's go time. It's either now or never. What is it that can be putting them in such a rush? Okay. Method of attack. Family statements indicate Clinton was attacked first with a knife and then followed by Kristen. Remember, here comes the psychotic killer out of nowhere, ambush. The husband, like a hero, takes the blunt force. The wife and the 2 children are rushed away by the mother. The children are rushed away by the mother. Dropped off with the first witness that she came across and ran back to fight the killer, to fight the knife-wielding serial killer, perhaps. I mean, how courageous is that? It's inspiring. The use of a knife implied pending autopsy confirmation indicates a close contact, personal weapon, often associated with emotional intensity or control, right? Fingerless gloves. Maybe he wants to be personal. He wants to feel. He wants to feel what he's doing. I want to feel the life leave their body. We're looking at the evidence and we're trying to see if it paints a picture. We're going to store it all. We're going to gather as much as we can possibly find. We're going to put it all in front of us and we'll see what comes up. What do we see? Who is this guy? The victims were a couple hiking with their 2 daughters, aged 7 and 9. So why were these victims selected? The girls were unharmed. I don't know. I think he may have intended to kill all 4. I don't think he was anticipating them to be what they were. The situational awareness, the way that they were able to work together on the drop of a dime, I think they spoiled it for him. I think the devastating factor for this killer, if he was a serial killer, may have been the kids, right? That's what's going to disturb the public. That's how I'm going to get my fame, right? Brian Koberger, why not just kill one victim and then another one down the road? No, I want there to be shock and awe. Yeah, Stephanie, I know what you meant. No press conference. That tells me that perhaps they're chasing a suspect, right? They plan to have good news. And they don't need the public's help, right? Stephanie, why do law enforcement, why do they put on these press conferences? It's because they're stalemated. They ran into a wall. They need help. We need the public's help. We thought that we could do something with this photograph. We thought we could do something with this and that. But now, we're stuck. We need your help. We're having a press conference. Pass this photo around. This is who we're looking for. This is what we're looking for. So the fact that they're not having a press conference tells me that they don't need our help, which is good news in a way, hopefully. Chris Willis, have a video to share. My sister just saw a whole slew of cops put strips down the south of South Rock of a black Mazda. Holy shit. My email address is sleuthintuition@gmail.com. If you send it to me, I can put it on the screen or take a look at it. Like I said, you guys, I'm going to keep you updated on this case. We're going to follow it. This has everything that makes a high profile case. Everybody said, well, why was the Delphi case so high profile and the Flora fires weren't so high profile? It's racism. No, it's not any of that. What it has to do with is this photograph right here. People want to help. People want to feel like they can help. But when they have nothing to go on, there's no way to help. There's no starting point. And that's how law enforcement feels a lot. But the majority of us, we just want to help. And the way that these cases become so high profile is photographs just like this, photographs of the bridge guy, audio, right, down the hill. We got the video of the killer walking across the bridge. Well, here you go. We got a photograph of the guy's car, and we have an image of him from behind. This is everything you need to make this case high profile, because we can help. We can analyze this photograph. Remember, one of you guys already figured out what type of shirt he was wearing. We might have been the first ones to put that out, that it was a North Face t-shirt. So congratulations. Sleuth Crew takes credit for another one. That's all we want to do. We just want to help. Yeah, sleuthintuition@gmail.com. I would like to think they're on his ass already. But they are asking for help on social media. Absolutely. Don't stop tipping in by any means. Don't take that as stop sending in tips. If you were anywhere even near that area and you took you have dash cam, if you were taking video, if you saw something, and remember, the information's never too little. If you don't try to discourage yourself from tipping it in because you think it's silly, right? Don't do that. It could be exactly what they need. No tip is too small. Mark, I agree, Sleuth. The killer was ready to kill. What's strange about this trail, and if you guys don't believe me, like I said, you can take a Google tour there. They have it all documented, 360-degree cameras, Google Street View. What it is, it's just like a big loop. It's a big loop that goes up to the side of a cliff. You kind of follow the cliff face for some period, and then you go back down towards the creek, and then up a little bit again, and then back to the visitor center. Well, on one side, which it appears this man is right now, you can kind of see everybody moving around below you on the trails beneath you. So this guy right here, he could be at a point where he can see who's who. Like, hey, is there anybody over here to the left of the trail? Like, how populated are we right now? He could have picked that location and say, okay, we're all clear on the right. We're all clear on the left. All we have here is this lone family. If I'm going to do it, all my hard work and planning, it's now or never. I'm never going to get another opportunity like this. And then he just did it. But trying to figure out what motivated him to come up with such a plan. Chris Willis, absolutely. Black wheels. That is very reminiscent of what was reported earlier on, which was the Mazda, in my opinion. Trixie's, good to see you. All right, what else? Okay, the victim's status as new residents, like wife Lilith brought up earlier. 3 weeks in Prairie Grove, Arkansas, and their family-oriented activities suggest a random or opportunistic attack, as no evidence points to prior connections with the suspect. Right? As of yet, we have to work with what we have now. If we change trajectory later on because new information is released, that's totally fine. It's not about bringing attention to us. Hey, we're right. I'm right. Look at me. My theory was so close. Look, I told you guys. No, it's about bringing law enforcement close to this guy right here. He will do it again. And I believe he would have killed those 2 little girls too if it wasn't for their parents. Okay, the crime scene characteristics. Organized versus disorganized. The suspect's preparedness, taped license plate, fingerless gloves, backpack, duffel bag, leans toward an organized offender. Planning to avoid identification and potentially carrying tools for the crime. His kill kit, right? What do we usually see? Them dressed all in black. Good example, Brian Koberger. However, the daytime attack and possible injuries suggest disorganized elements, such as impulsivity or underestimating victim resistance. So this is the issue that he made. Remember, we covered a case. I can't remember what it was right off the bat. I think it may have been the BTK killings, but I'm just not exactly sure. But we saw the evolution of a killer there too, right? The evolution of a serial killer. The BTK attacked his first victims, and he used a small caliber firearm. He said this 22 is not working. So the next time he committed a murder, he carried the 22 and a 357 revolver in a shoulder holster. It has more kicking power. I'm going to pull up this video right now, Chris. But the point I was making was the BTK evolved, right? So if this guy's going to kill again, I think he's going to do something different. Maybe like a stun gun. Maybe he'll move from a knife. He really wants that personal. He wants to be up close and personal, I think, with his victims. But he might have to right? He's going to weigh his options. Well, I can continue to use this knife and do what I really want, or I can be more effective and switch to maybe a firearm or a different kind of an ambush. Okay. Can I make this full screen or no? All right, let me put this up on the screen. Thank you for that, Chris. Now, you said this was near the actual scene of the crime? Let me see if I can make it full screen. I don't think so. Now, it looks like this was put out by the Heat magazine. Now, it looks like law enforcement is making a traffic stop. And Chris says it may match the suspect's vehicle. Let's take a look. Oh, yeah, look, spike strips and everything. So it might be hard for you guys to see, but the officer is carrying spike strips that look like they were ran over. South of Little Rock at Redfield. Says my sister passed this coming home today. All right, let's continue on. Let's get a look at this car. That'd be amazing if they caught this son of a bitch. Oh, look at that shit. That looks like the vehicle. Hold on. God, why can't I control this? Oh, the rims look different though. Oh no, he has a dark rim in the front. What the fuck? Here, let me put this image back up. Look at the dark rim. Here, you guys, hang out real quick. I'm gonna take a quick screenshot of this where it's zoomed in. Damn, I think this might be something here, guys. They got him by the looks. Here, bear with me a second. Here, let me put on some music. You guys take a quick intermission. I'm going to screen record this so that we can control it, and we'll get a close-up too. So don't go anywhere. Here, I'll play a little bit of music for you. Stop sharing my screen. Hang tight. All right, guys, I am back. Close down these windows. This is extremely interesting right here, guys. Has the dark front rim and everything. Let me share this with you. Oh, unfortunately captured that music. No biggie. Put it on mute. So this potentially could be breaking news. Thank you, Chris. Let's take a look. So not too far from the crime scene. Look at the police presence here. Ooh. Now right there, you see the spikes? Breaking news, guys. Possible suspect car. Here, I'll just let it play through and then we'll come back. Look at that. Look at that. Chris, how lucky is your sister to capture that? See if we got the license plate. It's going to take some work to get that. See if we can see inside the vehicle. Do you see a duffel bag? I don't see any duffel bags on there. I couldn't see the plate. It looks blurry. Damn. This might explain why there's been no press conference. I don't see anything inside the vehicle. Let's go a little bit further down. I didn't see any suspects either. Can't get the license plate, guys. But man, that car matches, doesn't it? They said black Mazda. Wait, is that a backpack right there? What the hell is that? Or is that just the seat pushback? Yeah, I think that's the seat. Sorry. Don't mind me. Yep, no fin on the back. Damn, that would be crazy if that was the vehicle. I think that's the freaking car, Lilith. There's a good point. Somebody go check the scanner feed. Let me know what you find. Here, I'll play the video again from start. This is not my video. This was just posted up by Chris in the chat. His sister apparently took this photo here, or this video, not too far from the crime scene. Look at the police presence and notice the vehicle. I think we have breaking news right here. Possible suspect vehicle. Gotcha. He's carrying those spikes so proud. All right, guys, we'll hang around another 10 minutes. And if we can figure out whether or not this is the vehicle or if this guy's been stopped, like I said, we'll keep you guys updated on everything. Andy says that's got to be him. There's, wait, is there tape? Is that tape? Is that why we can't see the license plate? Because it's taped? Hold on. That looks like there's tape on here, guys. Here, let's mess with this real quick. Does that look like gray duct tape? Chris, that's insane, dude. All right. Is this pareidolia? Are we looking at a taped up plate? I was like, why can't I see the plate? Well, shit, it could be duct taped. It looks taped up. I was like, please, Lord, give me the damn license plate. It's like, dude, it's the taped license plate that you're looking for. Just a shadow. Here, let's try. Yeah, I don't want to jump the gun. But you see these lines right here going down? To me, that looks like somebody might have wrapped it in duct tape. But it could be a glare, could be pareidolia. You guys decide. Need to take a good screenshot. There it is. Here, let me take this off. I don't see anything inside the vehicle. Yeah, it looks like silver duct tape, Andy. But is that because I want to see silver duct tape? Or is that because I'm looking at silver duct tape? Like right here, I believe you would be able to see like some numbers or like a blurry dark numbers right here that maybe you can't make out, but it's just completely blocked out. Look at that. Nothing. Here, let's see if it does that with the police license plate. Nope. Look at this license plate. Look at the law enforcement vehicle's license plate versus this license plate right here. All it has is these weird lines going up and down. Like it's been taped. Chris, this is insane, dude. What are the odds that your sister's driving by a case that you're looking into and perhaps gets the suspect's vehicle? Look, it's black. It appears that something is obstructing the license plate. I can see this is a clear license plate. Let's go a little bit further back. Here's a clear license plate, 4706. This is obviously a license plate. You can see an emblem here. You can see some numbers there. Let's go a little bit further back. Another one, clear as day. That's an E. Some kind of symbol, and maybe an 11 or 14. Let's keep going. 4120 says that license plate. And here, bunch of blurry numbers. Perhaps 4229. Now let's go look at the suspect vehicle. That bitch is duct taped. Nothing. Nothing to see here, folks. And see the lines? Wow. Yeah, maybe he's picking it, Amanda, by the name. But I'm going to say it here right now, guys. That plate is taped up. Look at that. Nothing there. Every other license plate is visible. Every single one. Not this one. I think you hit it right on the head, Chris. I think they got him. unless the rim, I don't know, that shit looks duct tape to me. Look at that. You can't see shit. All right, I'm going to play this video all the way through. Make sure you thank Chris for sharing it. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, this might explain why there's no press conference. Do we know what time this was, Chris? Can you tell us? What time? This was today, right? Well, you're watching it right now. You have access to it. Chris shared it with me. This is breaking right now. I don't think anyone but Chris, his sister, their Facebook friends, their group, and then now us, thanks to Chris. This is breaking news. Black Mazda, black front tire, passenger side tire. Here, let's put this back up. Remember, guys, the last two streams, what did I tell you? The first thing that popped out to me was the black rim. And what do we have here? I mean, the hubcap, it could have come off, when they hit the spikes. So we don't know. It's not confirmed or anything. But to me, it appears that the license plate is duct taped. I see that one. I can see that one. I see that officer's license plate, that police vehicle license plate. That one I can see clear. That one's clear. That one's clear. That one's clear. This one's not. This one looks like it's wrapped in gray duct tape. Is he sitting in one of the cop cars? Let me look at the original video. Let me look at the original and see. No, I might have to pull my email back up. Yeah, thanks, Chris. I mean, we are breaking news right now, guys. This is breaking news. Okay, I'm going to watch the original here. See if I missed anything. What's up, Shadow? Yeah, maybe the suspect is in custody in one of the vehicles. I mean, they just picked up the strips, but there's already some people there kind of investigating. Nope, he's out of there. All right, let's play this a couple times more, and then we're going to get out of here. I cannot believe that we're watching this right now. So it appears as if the guy is in custody. I mean, the license plate appears to be taped. It's a black Mazda. It's near the crime scene. There's a huge police presence. And the front hubcap is off. Just like the vehicle that we saw leaving that was reported at the crime scene. Notice the dark rim up here. See, these guys are kind of looking around right here. I don't know what they're looking for. He might be in this vehicle right here. Yeah, look, nothing. It's just like blank on the license plate. That's got to be him. There's something white right here on the seat. Oh, that could be the light reflecting off of the mirror. Right here. Or sunlight coming in. That might just be a reflection. A bright part of the fabric. Well, guys, if that is his vehicle, that means that he's in custody, and that is great news. That is all the time that we have today. And I'll keep you updated on the case, I promise. Big shout out to Chris. Thank you for sharing that. Cross your fingers. You know, hopefully they caught this guy, because he definitely would have done it again. She sent this to me like 52 minutes ago. So you guys, this is breaking news. We might get an update right now, and you're hearing it here first. So thank Chris. We're breaking news. Sleuth crew updates. And there'll be more to come. And if they do a press conference, if they caught this guy, they're going to want to go ahead and parade that trophy around. So if they go live with the press conference, guys, you know we're going to cover it, and we'll cover it live. So I will see you guys then. And please, if you can, we're 100% crowd-funded here at the Sleuth Intuition channel. We go to crime scenes and we do boots-on-the-ground investigations. So if you can help us out with gas money or anything like that, you can speed up the process. I don't want you to feel pressured to donate, but if you can, Cash App link is there. Some other links in the description. But if you can't do any of that, just hit the like button, guys. It's right there.